Queen Camilla was supposedly humiliating King Charles behind palace doors. Prince William was allegedly handed secret recordings, witness statements, and a complete evidence file. Within days, the story claims, he removed her from royal meetings, stripped away her public role, forced her out of Clarence House, and quietly took control of the monarchy while his father stepped back. It is an explosive story. It also creates a question more disturbing than the accusation itself. If this happened, how did one of the biggest constitutional upheavals in modern royal history leave no authenticated document, no named witness, no official order, and no visible change in the public record? There are only two possibilities. Either Prince William secretly carried out a palace purge so complete that the royal household, the government, the official websites, the court circular, and every major institution involved concealed it while Queen Camilla continued appearing in public. Or an online narrative used King Charles's illness, William's protective image, and the unresolved anger surrounding Diana to manufacture a confrontation people were already emotionally prepared to believe. That is the conflict at the center of this video. Not whether Camilla has critics. She clearly does. Not whether William is preparing for a larger role. He clearly is. The question is whether a dramatic story can become believable simply because it gives the audience the emotional ending it wants. The viral account begins with a private planning meeting. Camilla allegedly insults Charles in front of senior staff, calling him weak and humiliating him until he sits in silence. A worried employee then bypasses normal channels and sends William a file containing recordings, timestamps, and 7 witness statements. William reads it, becomes furious, and starts building a case. The details are designed to feel precise. A date, a time, a room, a frozen scheduling officer, Charles looking pale, staff pretending to write. Precision creates the impression of reporting. But precise storytelling is not the same as verified evidence. No recording has been published. No witness has been identified. No document has been authenticated. The account tells viewers exactly what everyone said and felt, while never explaining how those private details were independently confirmed. Then the story expands. More staff supposedly come forward with years of accusations. Camilla is described as controlling meetings, resenting William and Catherine, and ruling through fear. Charles allegedly confesses that he has lost himself inside the marriage. William receives permission to act and summons an emergency body called the Crown Council. This is the point where the narrative stops behaving like a difficult family story and begins behaving like a political thriller. The alleged council meets, examines the evidence, and unanimously votes to remove Camilla's influence. Her engagements disappear, her patronages are transferred, her residence changes, her staff is reduced, her security is reassigned. William then becomes the operational leader of the monarchy, while Charles keeps the title of king. Every step raises the stakes, but every new detail also creates a new place where evidence should exist. A formal vote should create a record, an official decree should have legal or administrative authority, the removal of patronages should be visible to the organizations involved. A total cancellation of engagements should appear in the royal diary and court circular. A constitutional transfer of the king's functions should involve recognized legal procedures, not a private decision by his son. The real British system does contain councils, but not the all-powerful family tribunal described in the viral story. The Privy Council handles specific government business and meets under established procedures. Its formal decisions are recorded through public orders and proclamations. Its day-to-day work is conducted mainly by ministers, not by 12 palace figures voting on whether a royal wife should be exiled. There is also no constitutional mechanism allowing the Prince of Wales to strip the Queen of her position by personal decree. A consort does not independently govern the country, command ministers, or possess the sovereign's constitutional powers. The official description of a consort's role is primarily one of companionship and practical support to the monarch. alongside an independent program of charitable work. That matters in both directions. Camilla does not possess a hidden constitutional throne that William needs to capture, but William also does not possess the authority to erase her title, patronages, residence, protection, and public role because private staff sent him a file. If serious misconduct occurred inside a royal household, it could produce personnel changes, legal advice, internal investigations, security decisions, or action by the king. But the viral narrative presents William as investigator, prosecutor, constitutional authority, and final judge all at once. That may be satisfying drama. It is not how royal or governmental authority is structured. The story also claims that Camilla began disappearing from official platforms. Her biography was supposedly rewritten to describe her only as the king's wife. Her photographs were removed. Her public engagements ended. She was reduced to an invisible figure while William and Catherine replaced her. This is where the public record becomes decisive. The official royal family website still presents Camilla as Her Majesty the Queen. It describes her as supporting the king in his duties and maintaining her own charitable work. It records her continuing connections with more than 100 charities and organizations. The court circular, which is the official record of completed royal engagements, does not show a queen erased from public life. During July 2026, Camilla held meetings, received military representatives, hosted a Royal Osteoporosis Society reception at Clarence House, supported literacy work, and appeared with Charles at major events. On July 23, the King and Queen attended the opening program for the Glasgow Commonwealth Games together. The same official record shows Charles continuing constitutional and public work. He held a council, carried out investitures, received public figures, visited Oxford, traveled to the Isle of Man, met military personnel, and appeared at national events. It also shows William and Catherine conducting their own program through Kensington Palace. That is not proof that every private relationship inside the family is warm. Public engagements cannot tell us what is said behind closed doors, but it directly contradicts the central claim that Camilla was stripped of her role, removed from royal life, and replaced through a completed institutional purge. The story asks the audience to believe that the monarchy secretly removed the queen while continuing to list her engagements, publish her work, recognize her patronages, host events at her residence, and present her beside the king. At that point, secrecy is no longer an explanation. It becomes a shield protecting the claim from every piece of contradictory evidence. Defenders of the story may answer that official records cannot reveal private emotional abuse. That is true. A diary cannot prove a marriage is happy. But the story does not stop at a private argument. It claims a public removal, canceled duties, transferred patronages, reduced staff, changed security, digital erasure, and a transfer of royal control. Those are operational claims, and operational claims should leave operational evidence. The alleged transfer of power to William creates an even larger problem. King Charles's cancer diagnosis did not automatically transfer the crown or the daily government of the monarchy to his son. When the palace announced the diagnosis in February 2024, it said Charles would postpone public-facing duties during treatment while continuing state business and official paperwork. He later returned to public engagements. The constitutional system already provides mechanisms for illness or absence. Counselors of state may be appointed to perform many royal functions during temporary incapacity or absence. The eligible group includes the sovereign's spouse and senior people in the line of succession, with additional working royals added by legislation. A regency requires a formal statutory determination of incapacity. William cannot privately activate it, and Charles cannot quietly hand him an undefined role as de facto king, while leaving every recognized process untouched. This does not mean William is unimportant. He is the heir. His workload, preparation, and visibility will naturally increase. Every time he represents the crown at a major event, the image reminds the public that succession is approaching. But preparation is not accession. Supporting the king is not replacing him. A larger public role is not evidence of a secret transfer. Why then has the bullying and purge story attracted so much attention? Because it combines four emotionally powerful ideas. First, Charles is receiving treatment for cancer. Illness makes him appear vulnerable, even when he continues working. A story portraying him as privately mistreated feels more plausible because audiences already know he has faced physical strain. Second, William has a public image as a protective son and future king. Casting him as the person who finally confronts Camilla turns constitutional preparation into an act of rescue. Third, Camilla's history with Charles and Diana ensures that many viewers do not approach a new allegation neutrally. The old triangle still shapes how current images are interpreted. A story in which Charles suffers emotionally and Camilla loses status can be presented as justice, karma, or history coming full circle. Fourth, royal privacy creates empty spaces. The palace does not publish every family disagreement, staff complaint, medical discussion, or household decision. Those gaps can be filled with responsible uncertainty or with cinematic dialogue that no identifiable source can verify. The viral story chooses the second option. It gives Charles a devastating confession. It gives William a heroic response. It gives Camilla a humiliating downfall. It gives anonymous staff perfect memories. It gives a secret council unanimous authority. It gives the audience moral closure. Real institutional conflict rarely arrives that neatly. The believable tension is slower and more complicated. Charles is an aging monarch continuing treatment while trying to preserve the image of stability. Camilla is both his wife and an active working queen whose access to him naturally creates influence, even though she does not govern. William is the heir who must prepare for the future without appearing impatient for it. Catherine is rebuilding her own public program while supporting a family whose responsibilities may expand. Those roles can create disagreement without secret recordings or emotional abuse. William may believe his father should delegate more. Charles may see reduced duties as the beginning of a transition he is not ready to make visible. Camilla may believe continued work gives Charles purpose and strength. Advisors may worry that every scheduling change will be misread as evidence that the king cannot continue. That is a genuine conflict. Health against duty, privacy against readiness, and the present reign against the unavoidable future. It is also more believable because no one has to become a cartoon villain. Camilla can protect her husband and still be accused of protecting her influence. William can prepare responsibly and still be portrayed as moving too quickly. Charles can continue working out of duty while making it harder for the institution to discuss his limits honestly. The monarchy's real vulnerability is not that one secret council could remove the queen overnight. It is that unclear boundaries allow every ordinary decision to become evidence for whatever story the audience already believes. A cancelled engagement becomes proof Charles is collapsing. A Camilla appearance becomes proof she controls him. A William appearance becomes proof the handover has begun. A serious expression becomes evidence of family war. Once every image is treated as confirmation, the theory becomes impossible to disprove. That is why the most controversial question is no longer whether the alleged meeting happened. It is whether audiences are judging evidence or rewarding a story because it punishes the person they already distrust. Camilla's past is part of royal history. It can reasonably shape public opinion. But history is not evidence that she currently bullied an ill king, that staff recorded her, or that William removed her through an invented procedure. William's concern for his father may be real. It is not proof that he conducted a palace coup. Charles's health challenges are confirmed. They are not proof that his marriage has collapsed or that he surrendered control of the monarchy. The final verdict is clear. There is no credible public evidence supporting the story's central claims: the abusive meeting, the evidence file, the 7 witnesses, the Crown Council vote, the removal of Camilla's role, her internal exile, or Charles transferring day-to-day control to William. The official record does not merely fail to confirm those claims. On several crucial points, it shows the opposite. Camilla remains publicly active as queen. Charles continues constitutional and ceremonial duties. William and Catherine continue a separate program as Prince and Princess of Wales. The recognized systems for temporary incapacity and regency remain unchanged, but dismissing the invented details does not remove the real controversy. The monarchy is moving through a sensitive transition. Charles's health has made questions about workload and continuity impossible to avoid. William's future role grows more visible with every year. Camilla's influence will continue to be examined because she is the person closest to the king, and the palace's instinct for privacy will continue to create space for stories that offer certainty without proof. So here is the question for the comments. Is Queen Camilla being protected from legitimate scrutiny because the palace controls the official record? Or is she being turned into a permanent villain by channels that know audiences will believe almost any accusation connected to Charles and Diana? And where should Prince William stand? Should he publicly defend Camilla when claims are unsupported? Or should the future king remain silent and allow the evidence to speak for itself? The answer reveals more than an opinion about one royal marriage. It reveals whether we still require proof before destroying someone's reputation, or whether the most emotionally satisfying version of a story has become enough.